What's going on, everybody? It's James Corbett with Project Refit and FML. And today we have Monica Boyd on with us, and she is going to tell us a little bit about herself. And I explained to her that what we're trying to do is get to the point where we learn how she decided she was for her life in some way, shape, or form. And we get to talk about that all for this whole hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour sometimes, maybe a little over an hour sometimes. But bottom line is, we're going to hear from Monica. And Monica, you're right here with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's jump into this bad boy.
Hey everybody, I'm Monica, aka the Military Diva. Let's see. I've been in the serving in the army for a little over 23 years.
Woo!
Yes, AGR Active Guard Reserve. So started out as a reservist, went in right in during high school and kind of been climbing my way through this military life that we have. Good, bad, and ugly. Let's see what else about me. I enjoy life. I love to laugh. I love to bring everybody together. But I also know the rough side of it. Had a very interesting deployment, which was good and bad. Um, because of that, I went through some. I had a couple of I went through depression really bad, had some suicidal scares, whatnot. But then that's when the healing journey kind of started for me.
It's
And
fantastic.
because of that, I'm an MST survivor. And for those who
Mm,
know, military sexual trauma, um, because of some good leaders in my command, I was able to start the healing journey and my support group. um it's been pretty good. So my goal, when I started the Military Diva, was to help my other sisters in arms be able to get beyond, that stigma that no one listens to us and they only sees us as just a pretty face in uniform.
right.
So I try to be a good mentor, a good, a good big sister, as you may say, and be able to, learn as much as we, of all of the great things that all women in every branch has done over the years, and just try to see, change that, try to change the conversation that, we as women is more than, a pretty face in uniform.
Right on.
So,
I love that.
yeah.
So, well, actually, first and foremost, uh, Tanner Ortiz says, Sergeant Boyd, hope all is well.
Doing great. Thanks.
Uh, Tanner's a good guy, man. Tanner's actually going to be one of the retreat leaders going out to Washington State with the roaming vet. We're hosting a retreat alongside the roaming vet. I don't know if you ever heard of her or not, but it's pretty cool. Um, so back to you, and you mentioned that the Military Diva, which, by the way, there's another lady, another woman. She actually is a part of Refit too, and she has a show called the Military Diva. If you ever wanted to get introduced to her, I would love to introduce you to her at some point. She's
Yeah.
been doing it. Yeah, she's been doing it for like, I don't even know, like 6 or 7 years or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's pretty cool, man. She's an awesome lady. I'll introduce you to her.
Okay.
So she just actually got promoted to major, I believe. It's major that she just got promoted to, and she's a nurse down in Florida now. She lives in Florida now, but
Okay.
she was actually
Bless
up
you.
here. Thank you. She was up here in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area for years, and I think she actually won like the uh, uh, female veteran of the year, I think, or something like that. Like she's so cool, man. I'll introduce her. But anyway, um, how did you come up with the Military Diva? Like, what was the
So
like? Give us a story. Give us a backstory to that.
so I came up with it during my deployment, I deployed to, I was in Camp Lemonnier 2014, 2015. And during that time, I realized, I saw that, because it was a joint environment, I realized that women in all branches go through the same thing. We go through the
Mm,
glass ceiling, we go through the harassments, we go through the looks. Um, so it wasn't just army. And so I was like, okay. During that time, I started looking at our history. So, are you going to leadership schools and things of that nature? You see all of the when you look at the history of the NCO, the history of the military, what contributions women have done in there, and it always interested me. And so I started, looking up that, and so it's kind of, I started writing that down, and posting that up on social media and things like that, and it was getting a good following. And then just started talking to people about all of our journeys and
mm.
connecting. And when I came back from my deployment, I would talk to my other, veteran sisters, and would find out that we all shared some of the similar experience. The problem was they never said anything, so they would never followed
Mm.
up. So I decided, I said, okay, well, I want to, try to create a safe space for them to be able to you know, heal, you know, talk, relax, relate, release, if you will, and be able to learn more and be able to
I will.
be okay to share your story, share your knowledge.
Yeah.
And so the younger generation
Love
does
that.
not think that, you know,
That they're alone.
we're tight or assholes, if you will,
Hmm.
because that
Yeah.
that was kind of the consensus, that a lot of the younger troops couldn't think that they could talk to her, either older female leader, because they're either, competing, or don't like them for whatever reason, or the case may be, so that trust factor is gone. So I was like, how do we
Yeah.
build that sisterhood? So that's where I created the military diva, because the military diva to me is a oxymoron. If, you know when you think of the military, you think patriotism, um, serving your country, loving who you are as a U.S. citizen, things of that nature. But then when
Yep.
you think of a diva, the first thought that comes to people's mind, they think of, oh, someone that is kind of egotistical or stuck up or whatever. But in Merriam's dictionary, if you look at it, diva is Latin, is the female form for devo, which is, God. So it's a goddess. Diva is a goddess. So I always look at my sisters as, when we speak it to us, that you are a goddess that's serving in the military. I
Mm.
know it may sound a little crazy, but
No, that does
it
not sound
it
crazy. That's cool,
it
man.
but for me, I look at it as, if you can drive a deuce and a half, and get on airplanes, or ruck with 100 pounds on your back, no problems, you're pretty badass, and you shouldn't let nobody else tell you otherwise.
Mhm, mhm.
So how do we change that conversation so you can start looking highly of yourself, and having others look at you highly? So I love how a lot, over the last few years, everything has been changing um in our favor. They're changing the guidelines to where it doesn't seem, there's no negative aspect for us as for women. Not that it was, versus what it was 15 years ago, if that makes sense.
Could you take us through what you mean by that? We have some people on here who have never served or aren't as deep dove into the military community as others.
Let's say, for instance, one example, women who Uh, Before, women who served, who had families, that was kind of, I don't want to say was frowned upon, but if you were married or was having children and you wanted to excel in your field, it was kind of hard to, because they didn't give you any leeway. So, if a woman had a child, she only got less than 3 months off, and then had to come back in, and it was expected for her to be physically in shape the same way she was before she got pregnant.
Mm,
And what people should know, what we all know, our bodies change, especially when we have children. Some
mm,
people have good pregnancies, some people have not so great pregnancies, where you may have to have additional surgery, or additional issues come up postpartum. And that's just the physical part. We're not even talking about the psychological piece. So now they've changed it where they're more supportive. So now, they put in more time where mothers can be with their children. They give them more time to get themselves together physically and mentally and emotionally together.
hmm
And it's not a negative mark. A lot of units now have lactation rooms, whereas those who decided they're going to breastfeed their children, they can pump in peace, and there's no issues. Years ago, there was no such thing. And they even changed the regulations also to help fathers, to give fathers time off, because there was a lot of men who would deploy or go on mission and miss their child's birth, or could not spend any time with their children. So they have paternity leave now. So these are the things, people have put in place that make changes, because our voice matters. So that's just one example, one of the many examples. Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? Uh-oh. I can't hear you. Hello? I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Um,
Ugh. Can you guys hear me? Hey, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we could hear you the whole time, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
How about now?
I couldn't hear. Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I don't know what happened there. I apologize about that. That was annoying. Um, but those are quite a few issues that you actually just brought up, and quite a few issues that have been addressed. I actually am a huge fan of hearing that they're taking more seriously the allowing mothers time to spend with kids and fathers time to spend with kids. It's such a crucial thing. Do you think though that during if there is a time of war that comes up, do you think those kind of things will be put off to the side, or what are some of the challenges that you think might come up because of that? Because mission does come first.
Well, for those who have newborns, that's where the family care plan comes into place. But I mean, it deals with the soldier and their leadership. But leadership takes all of that into account. They're they're more empathetic. Does that make sense now than it was years ago? It's not saying that. I know there used to be jokes that a woman would just get pregnant as soon as they find out that there's a deployment. That's never the case. That's really not the case.
It's hard to
Um,
do too. Getting pregnant's not
it
easy.
It definitely not. Um, but having someone, you're just having a child, they understand the pressures that causes of, separating a newborn child from their mother, especially those who is in that 1 year window of breastfeeding.
Yeah.
So again, it's that's something leadership goes thinks about, but it's not how can I say, it's not a bad thing where they just immediately say we don't care about what your family says, you're going on this mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes what they'll do is I know some units, they start off rotating. They'll put them on a rotating cycle. So there'll be some soldiers say, okay, well, you're not going to go on this mission this year, but in about 8 months, 10 months, or whatever, you'll be getting ready to go on. You'll go get ready to go on the next mission. So that gives that soldier time to prepare.
Yep.
And the good thing is too, we don't have 15-month deployments anymore. 15-month, 18-month deployments. So you can go 9 months or 12 months, depending on that, depending on whatever the mission is.
Whatever the tempo is. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
one thing I love about the changes. Another thing that just recently started, about maybe about a year and a half ago, the Department of Defense created, um, it's a female mentorship and a morale and mentorship program. So this is open to all veterans as well as those in the active duty spaces, reserves, national guards, to help talk about the issues that women in military are dealing with, and how
Mm.
to what things we can do as a group to collectively resolve those issues. This is something that's just recently came up. So, matter of fact, Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst, which is where I'm stationed at, we're building a chapter now. So this is a great opportunity for women as well as men. If for those that want to be able to help make change, this is a great opportunity to get on board. And this is DoD funded. So again, the military is doing some, great changes for our sisters in arms.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I love that. Um, I would love to, because we do have, time we have to abide by here. I would love to get into your story. So I'd love to get into, and I really appreciate you sharing those things with us because I think it leads in beautifully to why you are so excited about these changes. Are you okay with sharing some of your story with us today, or you don't have to if you don't want to?
I don't I don't mind.
Okay, let's hit it. Give us a story, something that you
Um
think. Yep, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I
I
was
didn't
gonna
mean to.
say, so for your story, you mentioned that you were going through a time in your life where you were really struggling, and you were able to get through it. Now, there's some people that listen into our show here, and a lot of people that follow Project Refit that watch this afterwards, that really do struggle. And they're going through a moment in their life where they need to hear maybe how someone else got through it. So, I would like to know, and the person who's going to be listening on the other side wants to know what happened and how you have made it through and how you continue to make it through each day.
Okay. So, well, let's just be transparent since we're gonna be real.
Let's be real.
Um, During my deployment, I was sexually assaulted. Actually several times, and because of the stigma of women reporting and the backlash that they get, I didn't say anything for 2 years. So when I got back, I thought, oh, you know, I won't say anything. I try to, soldier through it, However, I didn't know that it was already being shown on my face, how I was reacting to people. I was getting triggered, and I would, especially certain men, anytime there was a conversation that would get triggered, I would get combative. And I didn't understand that at the time. But I thank God for grace, because there were those in leadership that saw that and saw the signs, and they
Mm,
didn't come up to me or anything like that, but they talked to those, the sarks and other council and other leadership, to kind of say, hey, she may need to, sit down with somebody. She may need some guidance or whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yep.
Um, I remember I had when I got back, like I said, I was reserve. And when I got back to the States, I picked up an assignment. I picked up an assignment at PCS to Indiana, and my NCOIC, excuse me, my did a lot of screaming the night before, so my voice is hoarse. My NCOIC saw my triggers, but instead of confronting me or making issue, he gave me the grace to allow, because I would have an anxiety attack every morning, and I would just text him, say, hey, I'm parked, I'm in the parking lot, I'm in the building, but I'm having a moment. And he said, okay, cool, let me know when you get here. You understand that? And that type of compassion helped me. You understand what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yep.
So when that assignment was close to ending and I got new orders, he sat down with me and said, hey, I don't know what you're going through. I kind of have an idea. He said, but when you get to your next assignment, I really encourage you to talk to a therapist. And I kind of looked sideways, like he was, I was like, I don't think I need one. He was like, hey, you need to talk to somebody, because this is some real stuff. And I ended up breaking down and letting him know. And then he let me know that he had a soldier that went through something very similar, that he was trying to figure out how to deal with, because he had
Mm,
a young NCO that I guess was attacked by an officer
mm.
in his command, and he was trying to deal with it that very same moment, around the same time that I was dealing with my issue. So, but the compassion that he gave and the patience that he gave, you know, helped me. It started to let me know, okay, not all leaders are bad. Do you understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's right. That's right.
He did not say, well, what did you do? What did you wear? Why did you do that? Why did you talk to, why did, he
Yep.
didn't do any of that stuff. He
Yep.
was just like, hey, I understand, like, you don't have to tell me everything, but I do suggest when you go, seek out some help, right?
Mm,
Once you get settled. So once I got to my new duty station, I didn't say anything, because of course you're in a new duty station, you don't know anyone.
that's right.
You don't know anyone, and you definitely don't want to tell, your commander or your first sergeant or your sergeant major your issues right off the bat, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes sense.
So you try to hide it. But unfortunately, I would sit in MRT, I would sit in the sharp classes, and I try my best to,
Mm,
be cool and calm and collected. And I find myself running into the bathroom, and I would have an anxiety attack. I didn't know at the time that there were people watching me. I didn't know at the time that there were people concerned, that other people was reaching out to others to say, hey, how can we help this soldier? Do you understand?
Yep.
So I end up, the Sark introduced herself. We got to talking, things of that nature. I got the help that I needed. I had, and when I found out my attacker was in the States, I lost it.
Mm.
So it was a couple of years later when I found out my attacker was in the States and I lost it. And so my command kind of, I don't want to say held my hand, but when that happened, uh, it was so interesting because I was sitting in my car in my driveway and I was crying, like bawling, because I had made the decision I was going to end my life. And I knew that if I was, matter of fact, it was around this same time of day. It was around this same time of day because it was during lunchtime and I drove home. But I knew that if I walked in my house, I was not coming out. And I heard a voice that said, pull out and go to the hospital.
Mm.
Right. So I shot my NCO a text and said, hey, I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not gonna be able to come in the office because I'm going to the hospital. Um, and he immediately just said, where are you going? Like what floor? I'm like, I'm heading to behavior health. And he said, I'm gonna meet you. And that guy sat in right next to me and boohoo cried right next to me, holding my hand.
That's fantastic.
We'll say in behavior health. And he let me know, he said, Certain boy, you don't understand how many people care about you.
Yep.
When I got, once all of that was said and done, talked to the counselor
Mm.
and we talked about like a treatment plan and stuff. I had to go back to the office because my DCO, my deputy commander, wanted to talk to me, I guess. When as soon as I walked in, he just grabbed me and hugged me and we just cried.
That's making me want to cry right now. Shit.
You gotta understand,
Mm.
and I'm trying not to cry myself.
I can see it. I can actually feel it. It's
I,
hitting me. So
I,
I'm squeezing this right here, by the way, because I'm like, I'm
I
feeling this shit. Go ahead.
you gotta understand. For years,
Mm.
I never got to tell you when I started in the army.
Yeah, yeah.
Mind you, this was 2001, 2002.
Okay.
One of my best
Damn, you do not
military
look
girlfriends. I
you do
know,
not look
I
your
don't, I don't.
age,
Thank
man.
you,
You really
but
don't, dude.
thank
Hell
you.
yeah. Goddamn good genes. I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I'm trying, I'm trying.
Yeah, you blessed.
Um, so I did not like leadership, especially when it came to sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Mm.
I really thought senior leaders were pieces of shit. Excuse my French.
It's okay.
When it came to this area, because my first 2 years in the army, I saw my platoon sergeant. I didn't see him. She was my best friend at the time. We were E1, E2. She was being sexually assaulted. And this was before Sharp came into the photo picture. Do you
Mhm.
understand?
Yep,
Before the
yep.
Sharp program. So she confided in me, but they treated her like crap. They called her the company whore, everything. But she was 18, 19 years old.
Damn.
And this dude that was in his 30s, E7, forcing her to do things. Do you understand? It broke my heart. And when I said something,
You became the devil.
I became an asshole.
Yep.
that don't know how to what they told me. I don't I don't know how to adhere to a direct order.
Mm.
But I'm like, yo, I may not know regulations at that time, but I know right and wrong.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that and I saw other women attack her, no one seemed to believe what would happen to her until they deployed. And he, you know, harassed and hurt other people and he had to get arrested and he got kicked out.
Thank God.
But the damage was already done.
Sure.
So my friend left the army. Her husband was still in, but now she's a psychiatrist that's helping other people not deal with what she went through. Do you understand?
Yeah. I would
But
love to get to
that
know her too.
but that bad taste. Do you understand how many other women and men go through this
Yes.
and that can't tell their story because they
Thank
tell
you
their
so
story
much for
someone says
sharing that.
something.
Thank you for saying that because I was
Oh,
thinking in the back of my head, man, there's a lot of dudes that are going through the
oh,
same thing. A
you
lot.
got to understand when
More
I
than I
went
even
through my
knew.
healing journey, when I was going through my healing journey with my command,
Yes,
I did
ma'am.
not, I'm telling you, I did not want to go through these therapy sessions. They, they had a program where that's where you were going and it was intense. And I
Hard.
was like, let me work, let me work. And I remember I sat with my commander and my CSM and they were like, yo, you're going to these things.
That's great.
You're going to this thing. And even if it's the session is like 2 hours and you got the rest of the day, they were like, go to the spa, go get, they'll do something to decompress.
Let's
And I
go.
was like, what? And I
That's
was like,
cool.
no, no, that's not what soldiers do, blah, blah, blah. Until that commander told me when he was a teenager, his coach,
Yes. I got you. We
do,
we
do
we're
you
picking up what you're
understand?
putting down. Yep.
Thank you.
100%.
And that was the first time I ever heard a
It clicked,
military
right?
man. You
Yep.
understand?
Yep. Yep.
He said, I need you to go. So I don't mind telling my story
Yeah.
because every time I tell my stories, there's always somebody
Somebody.
who never got the chance to tell their story and start the healing process. Because
Yeah.
the best way to start healing is be able to acknowledge what happened. You have to speak up about it. And I'm just thankful that there was people. I was just so surprised because, as much as we say that the army is or the military is there for you, there's a lot of times that it's not, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, um, but there were actual soldiers who actually is there for their soldiers in this area and so because of them I said I have to return the favor. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to. I gotta do the same thing. I gotta give back. I have to give back. So
Damn.
that is why the military diva was created. That is why I support every organization that deals with mental health, that tries to dispel that myth and say, hey, it's okay to talk about it. It's
That's right.
okay to do whatever we got to do to make sure you get from point A to point Z in a healthy manner.
That's right.
So that is my story.
I really appreciate you sharing that, man. I cannot express enough how happy I am that you brought up men too, because during the course of Project Refit, and I'm going to say this out for the dudes who, that I've met and I've come across, and they might jump in here and see something or see this conversation, and I don't want them to be ashamed of the fact that they also went through an MST experience. I've heard some horrific stories and met some dudes who went through like gang situations, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that is just like, and I'm not talking about gang, like, shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you
it's
mean.
it's the most horrific shit, that I mean, it's horrible, and like, these are people that you're fighting along, like some of them that you were fighting alongside of, and it literally breaks my heart, like even talking about it. It gets me right here in my throat. I just feel for those guys, and like, they feel completely like left to the wayside, a lot of them, and like they're not men anymore, something like that, and it's things that they struggle with every day. And so I really do appreciate you, saying to them that, you see them too, and you recognize them and what they're going through as well. So um yeah, I'm really, really, really sorry to happen to you, and I'm really proud of you for where you've gone. I mean, for what it's worth, I'm really proud of you for how far you've come and how you're able to talk about it. And really, I'm sure you've helped out a lot of people too, with your story and by, opening up. And I'm sure it was not easy to get to that point. It's
No,
hard
it was
work.
not. Yeah, but it was one day at a time, to be honest with you. But being okay to be vulnerable, that's
Mm,
what it is. We were raised, you know,
mm,
in our fields to be tough, to be rough, to at the time asking for help was a sign of weakness.
mm,
15 years ago, nobody talked about going to behavioral health. It wasn't until so many of our brothers and sisters were committing suicide that they said, you know what, we need to do something about it. But we got to start preventing stuff. We can't just be reacting. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And the only way is being okay to tell our stories. You got to get the conversation going. You have to get the conversation going
That's right.
because your journey doesn't look like my journey.
Mm,
Do you get what I'm saying? But
yep.
there's bits and pieces of your journey that someone else can relate to. There's bits and pieces of my journey that someone else can relate to.
That's right.
And those little tidbits can help them, you know, say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna do this. This is why I talk to everybody, you know, whether it's a hug, a laugh, a joke, or whatever the hell it is that we need,
Yeah.
I say be comfortable to, we create that space to say, okay, what's going on? You get what I'm saying? Like, you
Yep.
good?
Mm.
If you're not good, I'm here. Whatever that is. But we have to like strengthen that foundation of brotherhood and sisterhood
Yes.
so we can keep going. So God bless
100%.
you.
Thank you.
That's
That's the second time I sneeze.
Yeah, that's been my goal. That's been my goal.
You're doing
And
it.
that's why I've been so glad that it's so funny that I ran into Dan. I met Dan at another event and we got to talk because he's the one that introduced me to you guys, to y'all organization. And
Yep.
so working with him, and I know he wanted to be able to get more women to
That's
attend the
right.
retreats.
That's right.
So I don't know if Dan has talked to you about it, about the women's retreats.
Oh yeah, that was actually
Okay.
something he and I discussed at length. We've been trying to find good. I believe you were the one that came up as a potential leader to be one of the people at the retreats that leads them.
Yeah.
So yep. We spoke about that. That's something he and I have been talking about for a couple of years now. We recognize, like, dude, like we've had a couple of women come out on our retreats, but it's a lot of men, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But
Yeah.
that also kind of points to the, and I'm very grateful actually. The retreat coming up in October, the roaming vet retreat that we're hosting. I mean,
Mm.
it. Last night we had our first Zoom call. It was like all women pretty much. And I'm like, whoa, all right, this is really cool. Like this is a whole other opposite, right? So there's going to be a whole different vibe when we're out there on this one. And, there's some guys still there in the mix too, but it's mostly women. So it's going to be really good to hear their perspectives. And, I'm looking forward to having a really good retreat out there with them, and it also might be the last retreat that I go on for a very long time, which is pretty cool too. So I can focus on raising money for us and getting in front of sponsors and things like that. And I'm
Yeah,
excited about and winning grants and things. So we do need a female to lead an all female retreat. And we are looking for the right personality type, the right person, and the right people to do that and to team up. So because we have some spectacular male leadership in our organization when it comes to retreat leaders, but we have not found. Retreat leadership for the female section yet that fit a couple of the certain molds that we're looking for. So so far from this conversation alone, I can tell that, you kind of have a little bit of the guts behind you to tell somebody the absolute truth, but in a way that is also, um, you know, you're not placating to people's necessarily their emotions too much. You do tell them the truth, but you do it in a way and in a manner that, you're taking in their feelings into consideration as well. So you're telling a hard truth, but it's delivered appropriately and properly. Um,
pretty much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But listen, that's a skill. That's a skill, man. And it's been developed over years, I'm sure. Again, I'm blown away by the fact that you joined back in 2001, dude. Like that, you
Yeah,
are. You look like you're like my age, a little younger, dude. I don't even know. You got some good genes in you.
I
Um,
appreciate it. I appreciate
hell
it. I
yeah.
just I laugh a lot and drink a lot of water. I tell you that
Let's
much.
go. Drink that water, dude. Water and black coffee for me all day.
Yeah.
Uh, I have a question actually. Do you know of Vermindale, Brittany Vermindale at all, or no? Because you're
No,
you're
no,
Army, you're Army Guard, right?
no. Army Reserve.
Oh, Reserve. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
AGR, right?
yeah.
Active Guard Reserve. Um, yeah, she's Air National Guard. She's also, I think, turning. I think she's getting hired full time, so she's going to be AGR as well. I believe that is when you get hired by the
Hmm.
Guard full time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think she's also going into that realm too. So, Brittany Vermindale, very close friend of mine. She married one of my best friends, so she's family.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So anyway, that was a spectacular story. You
Hmm.
delivered it in record time. Usually, you've done this before, is what I'm trying to get at. You've shared your story before.
Yes.
That was very well put together and crafted so people can understand. You almost made me cry. That's definitely tough, man. Um, well, listen, when was the moment? Take us to the moment. This is the part of the show or the part of the episode really where I want to know when you decided, like, what was the day that you woke up or the moment where you woke up inside your own mind of like, I'm for my life and I need to fight for myself day in and day out and I'm going to get that help. Because you did mention there was a couple moments. There's probably a couple moments where that happened for you. One of them is when you were like, I need to go and get help. I'm going to go to the hospital. And then I think there was another moment when you were going to therapy or going through therapy, that you were
Yes.
mentioning where you were like, I need to share my story more. I mean, like, give it to us. Like, when did you know that moment of like, I am for my life. I am not going to kill myself.
Um, I think the biggest one was when I sat in that parking lot because for months before that, I was trying to hide from everybody my issue. No one knew what I was going through. I would, hide in a cubicle, run to the bathroom, run into a office, close the door, and have my moment. And then, dry my eyes and ooh, and soldier through.
Mm,
I never said it. I did not say, but I have she's 15 now. At the time that I deployed, she was 5. She had just turned 5.
your daughter.
So my daughter, yes, that's my mini me. Y'all pray for me because she's a teenager. Lord, uh, you know, but um, that's my baby, and so
Hmm.
during the time, she didn't know what was going on, or kids
Sure.
actually can pick up, sense things,
Stress,
Um,
yeah.
they're not gonna say, but I was like, I would be wrong if I left this earth and Pookie would know what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? Like
That's right.
I I can't I don't want to leave her in that position. And so what I said, that was my biggest thing, was for, like, Lord, I don't want to leave her without a mother.
Mm,
I'm like, of course she can go with her, go to her dad and stuff, but I know what it's like. My mother grew up, both my parents grew up without their mothers, because their mothers died when they were 8 years old.
oh my.
And the effect of their parenting on me and my siblings showed. You understand? And so it would have been wrong for me if I had a choice. We all know we're gonna die in life at some point,
That's right.
but we don't have to choose. We don't have to make that decision to choose. Take our own life. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I'm not definitely not saying it's easy or anything like that, but I'm just saying that my baby girl was the biggest inspiration for
Mm,
me. And I want to leave this with you guys, and I know it's good short on time, but the same teachings, the same energy that we put in helping our brothers and sisters, we got to do that with our kids.
amen, dude. 100%.
We got to do that with our
100%.
kids.
100%.
Um,
Family's very
w-
important.
while I went through my healing journey, while I was going through it, mind you, we live on a military base. Everybody, it doesn't matter what branch you are, doesn't matter what you do. You are automatic family in a sense. Do you
That's right.
understand?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of the soldiers' children, he made an announcement to all of the kids that he was going to take his life.
Mm,
None of the adults seemed to believe or whatever. The kids did not tell the parents until he did it. He was 11 years old, 30 days shy of his 12th birthday.
damn.
All the children knew, but the parents. So I coordinated, I facilitated a class, a suicidal awareness class for kids, and I had someone come, because how tough it was.
God.
And to have my daughter talk to me about her experience. So the same stuff that we got to do, the same stuff, the signs that we look into for our soldiers, our airmen, our Marines, our Navy brothers and sisters, and our culture, we got to do that with our kids as well.
It's real.
So that's that. I felt the need to say that,
That's real.
because you don't want to have that phone call. It's bad enough to hear about a brother or sister in arms, and they grown, but to hear a child, we have to have that. I've created spaces, I've done events for them as well in the past, but we got to have those conversations as well.
That's right.
We can't, but my children, the next generations of leaders that we have, is my inspiration, why I continue to keep going. Why every single day I pray and I ask God just to give me the strength just to move. Sometimes it's moment by moment, sometimes it's hour, sometimes it's daily, weekly, whatever. But I ask for strength, because I'm like, I know if I'm gone, I'm sometimes, we are the light, the very light to help somebody else in their darkness.
That's right.
So we got to do what we got to do for ourselves to continue to make sure we can help those others get through their darkness, if that makes sense.
100%. That makes sense. That's right. That's real shit.
So
We talk about that extensively, actually, even on our retreats and such. We try to remind people just how important it is that your family and take care of your family. Made a commitment to them, and you should take care of them and improve yourself for them. It's not a selfish act. It's very selfless to take care of yourself because you want to be better for others. Like that
Yep.
word selfish, man, not a huge fan of that word at all. It's never good. Putting yourself first sometimes is not selfish ever. It's actually
No.
selfless because you're actually
There
taking
we
care of
go.
yourself to be better for the people that you love. So that's what I hear you saying. And I love that. So
Yeah.
there's a question that actually came through. I'm going to ask you. And I got to say hi to Voices over there. What's up, Voices? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming back in. I think this is your third week coming through, bro. Good to see you, man. Um, Rocco said, he asked, what do you do when you feel vulnerable?
What do I do when I feel vulnerable? So I'll take a moment. Um, Sometimes I gotta quiet the noise.
Mm,
Sometimes I gotta, I may have to take a step back and go somewhere and get quiet because I don't want to react
mm,
negatively to somebody else.
that's right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um, but whenever I'm feeling vulnerable, like
Wow,
I'm either
that's real shit.
praying, I'm listening to some inspirational music, or depending on if it's Tuesday, it's trap music Tuesday for me, and I'm
Damn.
listening to Lil Jon and
Trap
Eastside.
Music Tuesday?
So whatever that'll keep
Let's
me
go.
going. Working out. And when I feel that point to where I'll reach out to somebody that I trust, whether it's my best friends, another, uh, well, I wouldn't say, well, trusted colleague that I've had in the past or whatnot, but whoever that I trust that I can talk to and let that out. That's kind of what I do.
That makes a lot of sense. And actually, I really appreciate you bringing that up too, because something really important that we try to preach over here at Refit, which is not preaching in like a weird way, but we like try to
Yeah,
remind people, like, listen, you do have a voice. Your opinion does matter. You can help each other out. That those are really important things to remember, right? Like you need to lean into the people that love you. Like that is critical, big time, right? Like don't forget that you do have, if you have a lived experience in that realm, for sure, go ahead, listen. If you're a really good listener and you're good at giving back advice to people and you're good at reminding them that they are strong, that they are capable, then lean into that. Like my superpower, I believe in people, right? Like if I tell you I believe in you, I mean it. I see it. I see something in you, and you need to fucking find that shit because it's there.
yeah.
Um, and Rocco, he said, if you're not in the gym, then where you at? I love Rocco. Actually, the way he
um,
said it, I actually know how he said it. He said, if you're not in the gym, then where you at? Like that's how he said it. And we got another one. Voices says, okay, so do you have kids? If yes, I'm a first time dad of a 4-month-old boy. I feel like I'm doing everything wrong, thinking I'm a bad dad. What's something to help us get through this phase of him being a nonverbal?
um, Consistency. So
That is like the
my
best
daughter,
fucking, yeah.
it's
Go. Sorry. Go
consistency,
ahead.
love. No, 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 no. You good, boo?
You on
Um,
point.
it's
Oh, it's
You're never
everything.
gonna fucking know what I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but the best thing that ever came out of you. That's what it is. Um, that baby, if you just constantly tell him or her that you love them,
Mm,
constantly, showing whatever sign, showing them consistently that you love them in whatever way that is. Hugs, kisses, snuggles, smiling, dancing with whatever. So
that's
perfect
right.
example. Perfect example. I had my daughter, me and my ex, my daughter's dad, we separated. So that's another story. Um, but my family, my mother, because my daughter was the first grandchild, always talked to my daughter on the phone, like, speakerphone. And she would talk to her and sing to her constantly, even though my daughter didn't see her for a
Love
while
that.
because we lived in a different state. So when that time came when my daughter saw her, she lit up because she heard her voice.
Mm,
She heard her voice. She knew who she was because she heard her voice. And it was
because
the
of that
same way with my
consistency.
ex. It was the same way with my ex too. Because when she saw her dad, she was just like, "Hey, hi, daddy." So it's just consistency. So whatever it is that you love or you love about your child, show your child that, but let
That's
them
right.
know, like, consistently. I'm like, "Hey, baby, I love you. Oh, you know, look at that prince or look at that princess." I love that. Being consistent. Their babies are so smart. They remember that, and you have to tell
They are.
yourself consistently that you're a good dad. You're a
Yep.
good dad. Um, that you are a great dad. Again, the simple fact that you know that your child is 4 months old and you're trying.
That's it. The fact you
A
even think
great,
the way you're thinking actually
yeah.
shows that you care and you're a good dad.
Yeah, a great parent will always question whether or not they're doing enough.
That's right.
A great parent will always do that. I'm constantly thinking, man, did I do, am I a good mother?
Mm,
But I have people tell me that how they see how how we are, me and my daughter is, you get what I'm saying?
yep.
So again, consistency. That's the best thing I can tell you, brother.
Oh,
Being consistent with yourself and being consistent with your child.
and here's another one too, actually. He said this is the same word still applies in my opinion, and I'm gonna add one more. But he said, because I'm trying to keep everyone together, my wife is still suffering from postpartum depression and keep everyone happy. Man, consistency and patience. That's the other word too.
That's
Like that's
that.
that's that's real shit right there, man. Like you
Um,
just gotta, especially when you're dealing with somebody who's going through depression, and to that degree and level. I mean, you're just remember that, your wife, dude, she's a warrior, right? Like she just went through really hard thing. Like her body, her mind, everything is going through a change. You got to be really patient. I'm sure it's a lot easier said than done, my man. But anytime you want to jump in, talk to refit people, you want to talk to Monica, even I'm sure she wouldn't mind like jumping on sometime to our radio checks. Maybe you can jump in with us, brother. Like, no problems, man. You ever need to get something off your chest, contact us, message us, whatever you need. One of the co-founders of this organization, Chris Carr, his baby mom, who I think they're going to be more than that very soon, but went through a lot too, and she's a fucking stud, like. But he had to be very patient with her and her with herself and him and the baby. So it's like it's a triple down because she had to be patient with herself and the baby and him, where you have to be patient for the baby and her, right? Like just be there for them and just continue to be consistent and patient, baby. Go ahead.
can I add one thing?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Absolutely.
What people don't realize, what people don't realize is men go through postpartum as well.
Mm,
So I'm assuming
mm.
this is his first child.
Yep. Yep. He
So
did. I think
you
he
have
said
to
it's my
be
first
patient
time
with
dad. Yep.
yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. So the same thing we as women go through, you guys are going through it minus the physical shit that we go through, but the
Yeah.
mental and emotional, okay, that questioning, you're dealing with the same stuff that your wife is going through. Be
Yeah.
patient with yourself, okay?
Yep.
Have compassion for yourself, because it is rough. It is. Look, raising a child is not no easy feat. I mean, if someone said that it is easy, you need to kick them in their fucking shins, because it's not. But it is the best thing in the world. It's such a blessing to
Hell
be
yeah.
able to have that life,
Hell yeah. Thank you
But
for saying that.
I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know. Be patient with yourself. Love
Amen.
yourself. I'm not trying to be weird about it or whatever the case may be, but
That's not weird.
your family is going to look to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but I'm saying, like, even if you need that moment to yourself to kind of go away, to cry or to scream or whatever, it's okay. Be okay to be vulnerable as well. And be okay to be vulnerable to your wife about what you're going through. So the same thing that you're saying to us, talk to your wife about it as well. You know, if she's okay with that, to let you know that you guys are both going through this journey together. Because parenthood is a partnership. That it is a partnership, and it is such a blessing to be able to go through that journey. But it
That's
is
right.
tough, and both you guys need to be able to lean on each other and find resources like Project Refit to be able to help you.
Amen.
So
That is true.
yeah, that was it.
That's cool. He actually wanted to add a little bit
Yeah.
to it too. I'm gonna take this moment to let him vent out, and I'm appreciating that he's taking this time to do that with us. So he said when he was born. Oh, we also have somebody else said something too over here on Instagram. It doesn't pop up on our chat here, but they said yes, sir. Got to give yourself some grace. So let me go ahead and
Yes.
read this out though. It says so when he was born, we only saw him for 8 hours before he was rushed to the NICU because of his blood sugar, and he was there for 72 hours. I slept only 6 hours and walked over 30,000 steps, showing everyone him and my wife. My ankles were swollen, and I literally cried trying to keep going and not showing my wife I broke from the pain and the emotional pain, thinking I might lose my first kid. Um, well, that's okay. Let me give you a story. Let me give you a quick story, actually, to go along with what you did and how I actually find it to be a good thing. One,
Mm.
you did cry and you did it alone. And I think that's okay. I think being in the position that you were in, you didn't want to show your wife any tears, anything like that. And that is fine. I want to let you know you did the right thing, though, and you let them out. So there was a leader that came on here a couple of years ago. He was a leader of a Ranger battalion, and he said he went out on a mission one time where they lost like three guys. He came back to the base, and he was about to start speaking to the unit about the men who lost their lives at that time. And he said, "Excuse me, everybody, I'm going to be right back. Give me a little bit." And he walked off. He told everyone to stay in the room. He went into the bathroom and he cried for 45 minutes straight. He cleaned himself up and he got all prim, proper, and professional again, and walked out in front of his men. And then he told them, to think about his guys, think about all the people, and he became a leader at that point. At that point, what you did was leadership shit. You are leading your family in the right direction, bro. You did it. You're
Yes.
showing them strength. You're showing them that you are there and you're able to do it. You should tear up. You can tear up right now. And it is okay to do that. And the thing is, dude, you're going to go back and you're going to be there strong for your wife. You're going to be strong for your kids. And you're going to be strong for yourself in that moment, dude, and your family.
That
You're a
part. That
father,
part.
you're a dad, and that's what's amazing. It is. And what Monica said, it's the most beautiful thing, dude. You have life. You gave life. You brought life into this world with your wife, right? She's the one that really brought it in because, women do that. But that's a damn special thing. It's like magic, dude. But, and that's why it's goddess shit, right? So,
Yes.
but in all reality, bro, like all of that was reality. But I just want to bring it back to you're being the leader you're supposed to. You're doing the right thing, man. And I, for one, and I'm sure Monica is too, we're both proud of you, man. You're doing a kick ass
Yes.
job. And I'm sure everybody else on this chat that's watching this, that will see this later, is going to feel the exact same way. Give us some more. If you want to say some more shit, bro, let it out. Like right now, we'll read it. We'll talk to you about it. Like whatever you want, man. We'll wait for a couple of seconds here too as you send anything. But yeah, while he's sending something, either additional to the story, things he wants advice on, or any kind of thoughts, and also listen, talk to somebody too if you have to, bro. There's nothing wrong with that either, right? And that's what we're encouraging here too. Is you can reach out to us, you can talk to fellow peers, but also maybe there is a professional in your area we can help you find or something like that. I mean, like whatever we got to do, man. Um, so yeah, I'm really proud of you, dude. For real, it's really awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing
Th-
that.
There's also first time parents, first time dad groups.
Let's go.
Um,
That's cool.
Facebook is really great. I don't know if you ever heard of Meetup dot I think Meetup.org or Meetup.com, where they bring like-minded people together as well. So if you're looking to find other dads, first time dads, to get that support as well, just in that area,
Yeah.
start, that's one avenue to look at. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. He said so. Well, the thing is, he was surprised. We didn't know she was pregnant until the night before she gave birth, and she didn't have symptoms of being pregnant, and she didn't have any labor pain. So this came all of a sudden. We were not ready, but we are trying the best we can. Well, listen, man, that's that's okay. You still
Yeah.
life was brought in, baby. Like one moment you're good, the next moment you have a kid, and that's the way life kind of goes sometimes.
I
Uh,
think that's the best story. That's the best story you can tell anybody, though, that
hell
you didn't
yeah.
know that you guys were pregnant until the day before she went into labor. And forgive me what I'm about to say, because I was thinking about Dave Chappelle when he said "surprise, bitch." I don't know. For me, that's that's a hilarious story. You gotta laugh at that. You have
Hell
got to laugh
yeah.
at that.
That's
And
cool,
and
man.
and and here's the thing. Here's the caveat to that too. The fact that your baby boy is still here and kicking,
Uh,
you didn't know
yeah, that's right.
until the day before,
Still here,
and your
baby.
baby boy still strong and healthy. Yes, it was in NICU. My baby was in the NICU, but she's still here. If you see her, you would never think. I'm saying it's the same thing is gonna be with your baby. So you got kudos to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like your baby boy is strong. That's badass to be able to kind of keep going through. And that's a huge and to be a surprise, like yo,
Surprise,
man,
bitch.
you gotta write that story down.
Hell yeah. He said, "Oh yeah, we're famous in the hospital. Everyone wanted to meet the family that didn't know about her being pregnant and had no labor pain. All the women were jealous."
Hell yeah, I'm jealous, and it's been 15 years. I'm
That is
side
great.
eyeing your wife right now.
We also have on Instagram another comment says, "Yes, sir. We can't always do it all ourselves." I think this is actually going back to what I was saying to you, brother. So it says, "Yes, sir. We can't do it all ourselves. There's no shame in getting help for a problem or issue." I'll look at it this way: sometimes we just lack the proper tool, correct, and/or tools, correct again, for ourselves, and sometimes people can help us get the proper tools or perspective that we need and desire. That's real shit. And he said, "Yup, life is a beautiful thing. I was born 3 months premature and made it. It's possible. Let's go, baby."
Telling you,
Um,
telling you.
so I I love this. I mean, this is what a great conversation we're having today. I just want to point that out. So he said, "Man, I'm glad I came here today." Right, right. That's what I'm feeling. I came here today. I need this. I feel like myself more now. Thank you, bro. Yeah, well, don't just thank me, my man, but Monica too, right? So what a great time to have you on today, Monica. Absolutely fantastic.
No problem.
It is my pleasure too, brother. Like that is why we're here. That's why we're starting this conversation up, right? That's why we want to host these conversations. And he said, "And Monica, damn right. Let's
Thank
go.
you. I'm
Let's
I'm
go."
here. I'm helping.
Damn right. Oh man, and it was perfect timing. You are right, brother. Oh man, this is why we do what we do, right? This is why we're starting this conversation and hosting these conversations, make it real and bring you all into it too, and be along for the ride and the journey. So, um, again, thank you everybody for joining in today. Today was a great conversation. Every Thursday, 12 p.m. EST, we try to jump in here and interview somebody. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes it's Rocco and I. Uh, and sometimes we don't actually go live because we're on a retreat or something. But um, we're here most Thursdays at 12 p.m. EST. Follow Project Refit. Check out. I guess Military Diva. You have something yourself or what? You got
Yeah,
socials?
so you can follow me on Instagram, the Military Diva.
Let's
My
go.
website is themilitarydiva.com.
Oh
On all
shit!
social platforms.
Let's
Yeah, on all
go.
social platforms. So I did try to do a podcast a few years ago.
Okay.
Again, because of my healing journey,
Yeah.
everything was kind of on waves. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
So
Certainly do.
I'm in a better I'm in a better space, a better headspace, and I'm looking to see do everything I can now to get out there and love on my brothers and sisters, and be able to learn as much as I can about all of the amazing things that my sisters in arms have done.
Yep.
So I'm just kind of getting in. So you can follow me and follow my journey on the militarydiva.com. I'm more on Instagram than anything too. I'm trying to learn how to do TikTok, but if y'all notice, I'm old as shit. So I need some folks to help me out with that on that
We
realm.
don't notice, by the way. I just want to make
Thank
that
you.
very fucking clear. Nobody notices that.
I appreciate it. But follow me there with that. And I'm looking forward to be working with you guys more
Yes,
too and
same.
helping out with the women's retreats, whatever that in whatever capacity that is.
That's great.
Like I'm here, you know.
That's great. I thank you so much again for being here today. I agree, Mark. Today was definitely powerful. This was a fantastic conversation. Monica, I hope you actually sign up. Use that same link that you used before to jump in and sign up with us and maybe pick another day in a couple of months or something and jump in with us again. I really enjoyed the conversation today with you. And
Most
also,
definitely.
the message that you bring too is very important, right? It's one that we need in this organization. We have a lot of men, which is again no problem, but we are trying to also promote the female voice as well in first responders, veterans, active duty, and the like. So again, everybody, thank you so much for joining in today. Donate to Project Refit if you can. Become a monthly donor, helps us out a lot. $1 even, $2, $3, $4, $5. I don't know. I'm gonna make a song out of it soon, but whatever it is, man, like it really helps us out a lot. Lets us send people on retreats. It helps us operate our mobile base, which is that truck and the trailer that we send all around South Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in today, and we will see you guys next week. Later, everybody. Oh, wait, there was a message that came in. So one more thing, I'll let someone else talk. So I grew up with a Marine dad that never grew out of it and taught me to bury my feelings and deal with it. And it's hard to show my real feelings with my family. Any advice to help me break through this? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now that you're an adult now, and you can decide pretty quick if you want to be that way or not, right? And also, not trying to back your dad up for a second, but you did something really fucking great. You've already learned. I wanted you to give more credit to yourself. You've already learned kind of how to adapt to that shit. Because remember when you went to the bathroom to go cry it out and you came back strong, right? That is an adaptation of what you want to be and also how you were raised. I think you're doing a great job so far. But Monica, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, you're looking for advice, but you've already taken the first step, baby.
That's
You
it.
you know, the fact that you're telling us, that's
Right.
being vulnerable.
That's right.
So you may not have spoken it verbally, but you writing it out, and you still communicating it. So man, pat yourself on the back for
Damn
that.
right.
Pat yourself on the back for that, love, because you're doing it.
You
Just
are.
take another step, take another step. Now, I my only encouragement, do not look to your family. Do not look that you have to change for your family. The only family that you're is your wife and your kid. But as far as you don't have to go to your other family's expectations. Look at what do you want for
What do you
yourself?
want? Right. How do you want to raise
What
your family?
Yeah, and how do you want to show up for yourself, for yourself, for yourself?
Yep. And by
Because when
showing up
you
for
show up for
yourself,
yourself,
you're showing up for
okay,
the rest of your family.
there we go. Boom,
That's it.
boom,
That's
boom,
straight up.
boom. I would honk my horn, but I'm in a parking lot right now.
Hell
So,
yeah.
that part, show up for yourself, and the simple fact that you wrote this is the first big step of showing up for yourself.
Big
You're
testament to that,
admitting
brother.
that.
That's it.
Keep going, baby. Keep going. Keep
That's
going.
it. Love it. All right, everybody, for real this time. Appreciate you. Again, if you want to be a monthly donor, please do it. It really does help us out tremendously. And yeah,